All right, thank you so much. Here the program still this morning on ITV on independent television, Benin City, South Nigeria. All right, so I told you that we're going to be discussing the travails of Doyin Okupe this morning, former Director General of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election next year. Well, we understand that on Monday, it was a federal high court in Abuja that convicted Doyin Okupe, for receiving to the tune of 700 million naira from the former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki. What are the issues? It borders on, corruption, so to say. It borders on self-interest. And above it all, it borders on the questions that Nigerians are asking this morning. That for the Labour Party, a party that perhaps some people see that preaches accountability as far as the campaign matrix is concerned, a situation whereby Nigerians need to move away from the old norm. How come the Director General of that party has been found wanting? Well, we have the Labour Party Chairman in Edo State here this morning in the person of Mr. Kelly Ogbaloy. Sir, you're welcome to the program this morning on our TV.
Thank you so very much.
All right, too. Yeah, and also we have Don Etunsa Igebo, who is a youth leader, and of course he's of the APC. You're welcome to this program this morning on ITV.
Good morning.
All right, now. So, gentlemen, as we said, the foundation for this discussion this morning, let me come to you, Mr. Kelly Ogbaloy. Just like what I said at the introduction, that for your own party, it is believed somehow, that the party preaches accountability, and of course, a party that preaches the need for Nigeria as a nation to move from the old norm of doing things. And your former Director General now is in the eye of the storm. Corruption, money laundering, and all that. How do you people begin to respond to it, as a party?
Well, first of all, let me say that the conviction of anybody in any given circumstances is not a good news. But let us not also forget that these crimes were committed elsewhere. And of course, at the time it came to Labour Party, he was not yet convicted. It was alleged he did. So there was nothing in need to show that his coming has anything attractively to do with our party and the crimes he committed elsewhere, which were not yet proved. But now that these crimes are proved by a court of the first instance, it's clear that the man himself is decent enough to have resigned honorably. And so our take is that, yes, a conviction is not a good thing to happen. We decry that. But it's also clear that these are, perhaps crimes that it was evolving before it was considered. And we have right to have considered anybody, whether in court or not, because not until such a matter is proved against him, it cannot be said to be guilty.
Well, we understand that the allegation that has turned into conviction now did not just happen now. I mean, the allegation has been on even before he was chosen as the Director General of your campaign organization. Is it that the Labour Party was not aware of this, allegation?
In your words, they were allegations, and that's what I've said. They were allegations, and nothing was
But
there.
they later became convictions now.
Of course, yes. So at the point of allegation, you can't convict him. It was an allegation. And so he was still free until it's proved that, as a matter of fact, he's guilty. And so nothing stopped Labour Party for saying, okay, you can work for us, if the dexterity was shown at that point in time. So what we are talking about, yes, it was alleged to have committed crime. It's not sufficient for us to have convict him on our own as Labour Party. So I didn't see anything wrong in allowing him to work for us. And now that he's proved that he's guilty of the crime, he's been out. If we had to consistently keep him in, even at the point that he's now convicted, then you might say, why will you, as a party who has preached this and that, keeping a man who is convicted in the law court? Now at his conviction, he has, honorably resigned. And what again?
Okay. All right. So, Don Etunsa Igebo, the issue also borders on why wait till now, because that seems to be a big question on the lips of Nigerians. That this allegation has been on. Why did the EFCC or any other graft agency that was part of this conviction, why did they have to wait till now, Igebo? Why do you think they have to wait till now?
Well, the truth is, I didn't really think that they needed to wait till now. I think it was more of time thing. They say the will of the law grinds quite slowly, but it will surely catch up with you. With all due respect, I want to disagree a little bit with my senior brother here, who's the Labour Party chairman. on the aspect of morality, because the question she's just asking borders on the fact that this man had issues to do with the law. It was known. At the same time, as much as I sympathize with him, you picked him to hold practically one of the most sensitive office within the campaign directorate of the Labour Party, who in quotes preaches sanity and transparency or what have you. You know, from these actions, it's obviously clear that they're not really transparent, because at the end of the day, I don't see how the issues of what has happened to Doyin Okupe having been charged by the EFCC. Sometimes you can say certain things maybe for whatever interest or reasons. These things had been happening before he became the Labour Party DG. And for whatever reasons, you still find him worthy. It kind of creates a lot of question mark within the party hierarchy, or the people who wants to indict sometimes other people. For example, with issues that runs around the APC's presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, being mentioned in America on certain issue bordering on drug trafficking issues, which obviously has gotten documents that has cleared that man, who was never convicted of any wrongdoing. But today, you see, I was listening to, I think it was Arise, or Good Morning on Arise TV the other day. One of the spokesmen of Labour Party was hammering on the fact that the man was questioned in America, even if when the US government has come to debunk any wrongdoing on the part of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the same people are now standing here or sitting on the studio defending the fact that somebody that was seen to have been found wanting, investigated by the EFCC, charged in the same light, was also to them good enough to be their Director General. Obviously shows that the party is just misleading people.
Yeah, but wasn't it to exercise caution? Just before you respond, because let's look at, because you are trying to bring two personalities in here. You talked about your own presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but we are not talking about the presidential candidates of the Labour Party here. So there are two personalities at this point. Don't you think so?
Well, as much as I agree to an extent, but the case on the issue of court matters and conviction has a lot, it's kind of likened to that issues to do with the presidential candidate, because this is a narrative that has been sold to the general public to believe that this person who is this candidate of the APC is not to be trusted because of questionable issues around his name. But for you to then do the right thing, like you were saying from the beginning, to say, well, the Labour Party should have known not to hire this man. But at the same time, when the gentleman spoke on, he resigned honorably. A man that has been convicted could not have been resigning honorably when he has been convicted, rightly or wrongly. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, let me come in here.
The questions you ask,
let me come in here.
Just let him anchor his points. Yeah.
The questions you ask borders on the whole team and the people who are working with the change narrative of, like you said, the usual way of doing things. I believe you were referring to the other bigger political parties as much as the upcoming political party, to look at how people perceive them in terms of integrity, looking at the right people, doing the right thing, and it has become a kind of a boomerang tragedy for the party, of Labour Party, for picking somebody who they know has questionable issues around him and unfortunately convicted, which is really not good for the party.
Okay,
no, let me quickly put this here. Nothing has any infringement on the integrity of our presidential candidates in this matter. Now, I want to also make it clear that somewhere in the law, it is clear that when morality robs off from legality, morality does not find its place. Let's check the Supreme Court's issue on Article and others sometimes ago. So when you begin to import or transport morality into questions of legality, I don't see how that stands. What we are saying that at the point the man was taken to Labour Party, indeed, it was alleged. He was not convicted. So why do you want us to convict him before he's actually convicted by the court? By saying that, haven't been alleged that he has a case somewhere, and therefore we should have on our own convict him because we want to run morality. That's not right. And so when you go on talking of Tinubu and others into what we are discussing, it makes no sense to me. Why? Because these are people around this country are grand. If anybody is talking of APC today, I feel almost vomiting. APC is not, it's a country that has drowned this, it's a party that has drowned us so far. So what morality are you talking about APC? as far as I'm concerned. So the issue of Doyin Okupe had nothing in it to disturb the integrity and the personality of our president.
Yeah, but the question that...
So what I am saying is that it's not issue of morality, and you cannot discuss that to me that a man who's alleged to have committed a crime could have been convicted by us just because of that. You want to say, oh, because we know. How do we know? Until the man is convicted, that he committed that crime. So Doyin Okupe has been convicted, and it's a resignation because he's leaving us. And in Nigeria, there are people who were convicted, who are still in their offices today. Are we not aware of that? So in his own case, it's even much different. Upon conviction, he came forward to say, oh, well, gentlemen, because of this, I am leaving. Look for somebody else who can do your job. So we say that is not credit to him as an individual. Because it's nowhere in Nigeria. I'm aware there are so many persons who are in crimes, are still in crime, and not... Even when they are convicted, they are still holding their office.
Yeah, but I think we also need to give, because just like what some persons are trying to look at it, they are looking at it differently. That some persons are also saying that, okay, that Doyin Okupe would have appealed the case, you know, just to further buttress that he's not guilty. But for the fact that he kind of owned up now, I don't know if I'm tempted to use the word now, by honorably resigning, I think we also need to give him some credit in that regard. He gave up.
Well, the thing is, I don't know, maybe he's...
No, but let me also say, of course, the appeal is not closed, and it's not what the party should drive for him.
But he has paid the alternative, way of looking at it. He paid 13 million. He's accused of 700 million naira, and of course we are told that he paid 13 million as alternative that the judge gave to him. So that means to say that
as it regards us,
the thing is,
we leave it at that.
The thing is, because I'm not in a hot seat, with all due respect to the Labour Party chairman, is on a hot seat. I would expect
him... He's not on the hot seat.
No, I'm saying that. I'm saying that because I expect him to jump into every question just to defend and make a point for the people who are listening to have reasons to believe what he's saying. Personally, it's not a personal issue. No. I just personally believe that for what you've said, for him to have paid certain fine, owning up to this issue, to the conviction, well, we have to wait and see if he will appeal
after paying the fine.
Well, let us assume so, because you see, when you're in
he
trouble,
wants to go to jail for 2 years.
When you're in trouble, people can act irrationally, just like we're sitting here quietly and trying to make sense of whatever we're discussing, and then you have all kinds of reactions. See, let me say this, and let me say it very clearly. I'm not mincing words. The issues to do with the personality of the presidential candidate, with all due respect. I've read articles whereby they accuse the former Anambra State Governor and the Labour Party presidential candidate of being a peddler of drugs. But at the same time, none of those issues was being re-echoed by any member of APC.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because we are not looking to destroy or to constantly hammer on things or allegations or whatever that was written on the faces of newspapers. We want to tell Nigerians issue-based conversations on issues to do with personality. Because this Doyin Okupe's issue has thrown out so many issues on debates and discussions. You know, why I refer to our candidate is because a man, in quote, that you claim has run this country aground because the President Muhammad Buhari got his support in 2015, has been able to develop Lagos to become the 5th largest economy in Africa. Not in
let us not campaign.
Hold on.
Let us
no,
not
I'm not campaigning.
No,
I'm not campaigning. Let me land. I'm
yeah.
not campaigning.
Yeah.
Because by the time he mentioned about how his presidential candidate has no blemish, he also talked about how APC ran the country aground. Oh, APC ran the country aground when the President Muhammad Buhari had just commissioned the second Niger bridge.
You are campaigning again. You are campaigning again. I won't let you do that.
I just want people to, because that word.
Well, I was looking at
hold on a minute, please.
matter.
Please, hold on a minute. We will discuss subject matter, there's no issue. Because indirectly, he has also campaigned.
No, he mentioned, he infringed on the integrity of our party, of the presidential
candidate. Would you let me speak, please?
I'm still standing.
All right, so just let him anchor his point now.
What I'm saying is that the word as used, run the country aground, it covers a whole lot of things. I can equally say, well, the APC government did not run the country aground. Maybe we can leave it at that and focus on the conversation. I'm quite happy to do that. But I will not sit here and allow anybody to want to, politic, and then you expect me not to tell you all the good things that the government has done, irrespective
Yeah,
of
Well, of course, if he had gone ahead to
So-
discuss
so
Doyin
anyway,
Okupe without going to tell us
anyway,
that,
anyway,
in fact, his
please,
action
I'm
had to
still on
do
my
with the
feet.
integrity of my
I'm
party,
still on my
I would have bothered
Okay,
to
so
talk about
are
it.
you-
Chairman, I'm still on my feet.
Yeah,
Please.
just one more minute.
What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that it is obviously clear that people who has moved from a particular party to another party, in quote, that they will condemn, and now wants to come up as a saint, is some people that you really need to check out. They are not sane. For hiring Doyin Okupe, and today he has been convicted, it just shows the character of the people that is in that party and how they're trying to mislead Nigerians.
Well, of course, you can't be right by that conclusion, my dear brother, because you hope you have more delicates and more troublesome and more thieves in the parties you are talking about, where you are coming.
Well, I
so
think
you
they said
cannot
we should
therefore,
do
no, but
He's on
he
the ground.
concluded,
Let
he
him speak.
concluded by saying that Doyin Okupe's character show the kind of persons in my party. That's not right, my dear brother. The history is clear that the motives you have today are the motives coming from these people. Even the Doyin Okupe, the crime committed for which is convicted for was not committed in the Labour Party. Let us not forget. It's also coming from one of these parties. Are you following? But we fear that until a man is convicted, you can't begin to convict him by yourself. And so he was given that opportunity to serve us. And so his character in no way tells what our characters are as far as Labour Party is concerned. It has no infringement, like I said, or rather destroy anything whatsoever as far as Labour Party is concerned. We will continue with our job. We will continue with the interest at heart we have for the people. of this
Okay, one
country,
thing
and
that
nothing
seems
more.
not be too, one thing that seems not to be too clear to Nigerians today is whether he has outrightly resigned from the party or resigned as the Director General. I'm putting this question to you, Mr. Kelly Ogbaloy, because for most Nigerians, they're kind of looking at it that for somebody that is, you know, that has been accused, so to say, that has been convicted, that the person ought to leave the Labour Party, you know, totally. It's like having you have a white spread of cloth, and of course you have the tiniest spot on it. People won't see that white cloth anymore. It is that spot that people begin to see. So for Doyin Okupe, has he resigned from the party totally, or he has only stepped down as the Director General of the campaign
As
organization?
at the moment, he has stepped down as the Director General of the Campaign Council.
And you
of
think
Labour
it will
Party.
do good for Labour Party to still have
But
him?
that is not the end of it, because this matter happened now, and the party is sitting, looking at what is to be done next. So he has resigned as first step by himself.
So what do you
and
think-
the party will take decisions
what do you think-
on what we have to do.
Yeah, you are a very strategic person in the Labour Party.
Yes.
You know, what do you think the party will do now?
Well, I will not want to suggest or make the opinion of the hierarchy of the party, because in matters like this, we are also supposed to meet to look at things jointly and take a decision. As at moment, Doyin has resigned, step aside as the Director General of the campaign, and then the party is meeting in Abuja earnestly to decide the next fate or the next action on this matter. So I cannot sit here to tell you, oh, right now the party is sacking him, or the party, he too is leaving the party when he has not made that pronouncement on his own. But I can tell you that the party will not take anything less than cleaning its name for whatever has happened in this case.
Okay. All right. So, Igebo, you know, I asked a question a while ago that why should the anti-graft agency wait till now? You know, for most Nigerians, they kind of see the situation as a way to politically winch hunt, you know, because we've had something, I think a case that dates back to 2012, if I get my records correctly now. That's, you know, several years ago, only for that case to resurface now. So don't you think this whole scenario amounts to political witch hunting, of which your own party, the APC, you know, is being accused for as it relates to Doyin Okupe now?
See, I will always wait for you to ask me questions before I respond. I don't think there's any relativity to that matter at all. I don't think there's any, there's a way you can bring it together that what the anti-graft agency, that's an independent agency, is working on in terms of prosecuting who may have done wrong has anything to do with the APC. You see, what I don't really like or perhaps appreciate about the party, the uprising party that has been playing their own politics with their own ideas to sell to Nigerians, is that victim card. That card of acting as if they've been sat on, whilst at the same APC on the national level has signed into law the ability for everybody to vote and for their votes to count. So sometimes when we are trying to blackmail people to rise, we should realize that when you tell so many lies, tell one lie, you need to tell more lies to cover that lie. What am I trying to say? I just told you from the beginning when I first answered you. I said the wheels of the law grind slowly, but it will surely catch up. It is just a coincidence, I believe, that Doyin Okupe, who was selected to head the presidential campaign election of a man who was, in quotes, a PDP man and moved to another party called Labour, and today pretended not to know anything about the Nigerian state, pretended to be the saint, and now playing the victim card like they've always done, blaming the very political party in power who has created or perhaps run one of the freest and fairest elections where the president of the country is very quick to congratulate the opposition, whoever wins as a governor or whatever, or at the same time, the president that has released huge funds of money to opposition parties in the state, like your Governor Nyesom Wike said the other day. I think people need to really go back and think and make their own informed decisions as to whether or not it is true that the very government in power will want to oppress or intimidate their oppositions when the president is the first person to always congratulate an opposition when he wins. When the president is the same person that signs into law, the first time since 1999 for anybody, even the Labour Party, to be boasting of voting and voting the APC out of power, to me I think it would be very unfair for me to join on the bandwagon with such things or play that politics or that game of discussing Doyin Okupe travails relative to the fact that the APC government or the current government may be wanting to win front him. I don't think the government is doing that. Don't you forget, there are APC members from the House of Reps or otherwise that have been convicted and sent to prison under the leadership of President Muhammad Buhari. APC members have been convicted and sent to prison. That has never happened when the Labour Party candidate was in PDP for years. Working with those same people when he left his original party, the ABGA political party. So when people trying to play on the sentiments and the hardship on the areas where the government has not done so well, ignoring all the good things that the government has done, even when they give them a lifeline, to some extent you forgive me if I come here to want to explain, to get Nigerians to go back to the drawing board and really think, not to be fooled by the gimmicks and the games of these people who will open their two eyes, pick somebody that they know the anti-graft agency has investigated for some time over money laundering issues, find him, deem him worthy to charge him to court. Whilst he's in court, they looked at the whole Nigeria, 2 million, 100 million people. You feel like it is somebody that has a matter over his head. When you're condemning other people who have no issues because of politics, that is the man you select to head your campaign, it shows a lot about the character of the people in that party. And I stand on that ground to say that they cannot be trusted, and Nigerians should think so deeply on the decision that will make it 2020.
Well, let me quickly add to this. You see, when a youth sit back today and talk of APC, I'm amazed what manner of youth do we have in this country. How can a man sit here and say, talk about the character of a party like us? When, of course, over 100% of the cases of the troubles we have in this country come from the party he's talking about. What party are you talking about? As a youth, I'm ashamed of that. As a youth, we sit down here and talk about that. When you have quite a number of youths outside there without job, without means of livelihood, and you sit here laundering the image of that kind of a party that almost the entire country has turned against because of their misdeeds. So I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it, what we are talking about here. But let me say that, again, nobody can push us to thinking that we have done anything wrong here. For us, you may be preaching morality, but I wonder what is the extent of morality in the party you are talking about, in the people you are talking about. What is the morality in this country, if we check it from your angle? And so we have made it clear that there is no way a man will be convicted by the people when the matter is in the court. Conviction comes from the court. So you can't sit here and tell me, oh, because you have an idea that, Doyin Okupe was being, already being investigated. So did you have the verdict in your mind? Is it that it was sent to court, you were too sure that he'd be convicted, and therefore would have been thinking like you, that since it's in the court, it must be convicted, therefore don't consider it for any appointment? Is that what we should have done? For us, we were free to think that once the matter is in court, until he's convicted, he is a free man. And now that he's convicted, he's been removed. So we won't be thinking like these ones he's talking about, whom when you are sent to court, they already have convicted you. And that was the case.
Okay. Now, Mr.
See,
Khalil,
please,
just hold
just
on.
a minute, please.
Hold on.
I just want to say
hold
something.
on. It's just,
I want to say
no,
something.
you are going to respond. Don't worry. If you forget what you are going to ask, I'll
Because
give
you
a piece
didn't
of
ask a
paper.
question.
I will
You
ask
didn't
you a
ask a
question.
question
I'll
before
ask you a question.
responded
You
to what I
respond.
said.
I wanted to give you this piece of paper to
But
note
I should respond because
no,
I won't
because
sit here.
I have
You won't sit here
of course
and
you
then
will
you are
respond.
just trying to
Just hold
discourage
on.
us.
Just hold on. Now,
I didn't want to talk about.
I would have waited.
If you are talking about the tendency of my party, I won't sit here. Of course, I want to say, sir, next time when you are trying to invite here,
you can't keep talking.
You should pay me properly.
No,
you don't have to talk me the youth leader.
No, that's
I should have said my youth leader.
We are not looking at the issue of youth. We are not looking at the issue of gentlemen.
No, because I think I should not have been
Gentlemen, we are not talking about youths now. We are talking about issues that borders on integrity and that borders on the conviction. So it's not the youth we are talking about. So even if the issue of youths may have come up, but I think, gentlemen, let us not make this discussion, rowdy now. Now, we are not talking about youth and all that. So even if the issue of youths came up, I think we are trying to look at ways that we can talk about or protect our interest here. But anyway, Mr. Kelly Okubaloy, just before I'll let Gebo respond one more time. Now, there are some insinuations somewhere that perhaps Kelly Okupe, took the whole thing. Doyin Okupe, not Kelly Okupe now, that he took the whole thing personal. That right from when he got the conviction, how he was going to respond to the conviction and all that he took it personal. That the party, insinuations now, that's what I'm saying now, that the party was not carried along. That if the party was carried along, the party would have probably advised him to appeal the conviction. And also looking at the way he responded to the conviction now, that he's resigning, and he tweeted to the presidential candidate now, that his resignation is based on personal grounds. I don't know how you respond to all that now.
Well, like I said earlier, these crimes were committed while he was in another party. There was nothing in it to have a direct relationship with his activity in Labour Party until he left now. So why do we think that taking it personal is wrong here? Because it is his case. It is his case with a matter he had in PDP. So if he goes on treating it the way he has treated it, we didn't say
but we're looking at a personality that's a whole director general of a party. Why will he take the thing personal?
To us,
don't you think it borders on the integrity of the party?
To us, the personality we're talking about, in that case, remained with him where he was coming from. That is the personality we are looking at. We are not even looking at his personality right now as the DG of Labour Party, because he has as DG, I mean to say, because he has committed no crime known to the party as far as the party is concerned to us. So these things we're talking about, this problem was a problem he has, somewhere, and he didn't feel that problem he came with, it should be part of what the party should be driving now. And so he took it personally to go and treat elsewhere. So why do we have a problem with that?
And for Igbo, just as you plan to respond, now I went through the ruling too by the Federal High Court in Abuja, and of course about 36 count charge. Now the underlining point is that Okupe has been convicted on the ground that not that he did not receive the said 700 million naira, but that the said 700 million naira did not go through the right channel. It ought to have gone through. Now we have the CBN now, the CBN trying to restructure the way monies are transferred and all that. And for some persons, they're trying to look at it that perhaps as at the time he was charged for this case, or that the conviction is coming out, that they are using the new CBN ways of transferring money now to convict a crime that was committed many years ago. I don't know how you respond to all that.
Well, as much as I would like to respond to what my elder brother here said, to do with the fact that I'm a youth.
Let's leave that youth thing. Let's leave that youth thing.
What I want to say, I'm not old enough to be a governor.
Let us leave it. Just go on your point.
So let us leave that. We are talking about issues of exchanging ideas and having a discussion, even if we are partisan in any way or form. The issue of age shouldn't come in.
Please respond to the question.
So, on responding to the questions directly, personally, I don't think that there's any way you will want to relate what the CBN is doing now as to what has transpired with Doyin Okupe and how the EFCC or the prosecuting authority believed he may have been involved in things that is illegal, that's got to do with money that is not right. The truth of the matter is that no matter how much people may try to run away from the truth remains the truth. Like I said before, the man has been convicted. He has seen to have done wrong. Anybody or any particular group that feels the need to preach the gospel of the saints in Nigeria, where everybody else is a thief, according to them, should not be seen to be making some obvious mistakes that is so blatant. And for the fact that the man has also owned up to pay certain fines in your own explanation, kind of further buttress
Not in my own explanation.
Well, based on the fact and information
available
to you, that obviously buttress the fact that the sense of judgment of the people who wants to now be at the forefront leading this country is questionable. And once those things are questionable, then it now gives you the reasons to go back and appreciate those who have been sitting on the hot seat, who has also deemed it fit to prosecute anybody, no matter or whichever group that they belong. I would expect that when I mentioned that many APC members have been convicted and sent to prison, for example, like Farouk, I think Farouk Lawa, one of the guys at the House of Reps, I would expect my senior brother here, instead of hammering on the things that is of no relevance, to say,
no,
well, what I've said.
You don't have to say. Just hints on your points now. Let us be guided with. No.
To
I
hammer on
wanted
that
to
and say that
he's entitled to his own opinion. The way you're entitled to your own opinion.
The presidency has never convicted anybody who is in another political party, or the presidency, in quote, or the government who's been chanting the wrong decision that was made by Labour Party has interest on this matter. Those are the kind of things I want to hear, because at the end of the day, it boils down to issue of integrity. We can do better than these people, but based on this fact, based on this action, we've brought out somebody of integrity. They have someone who's not of integrity. This whole conviction thing borders around those issues. So to me, I don't think that there's anything to do with the federal government or maybe the CBN that's impacted the outcome of this very judgment. The man has been found wanting. He has been investigated, and at the same time, they've seen that those crimes were committed, and they've said ignorance is not an excuse in law. So on that fact, it is just unfortunate that the Labour Party may have hired him to handle the highest position in the party, and they can't run away from that fact that their errors of judgment cannot be trusted. And lastly, in my own little contribution, because it's not that I'm happy for the fact that the man has run into troubles, having been working for a particular political party as the Director General of the campaign, the message that he may have tweeted has a lot to do with probably use and dump syndrome, the abandonment of the fact that if I've taken it upon myself to be the Director General of your campaign nationally, and perhaps maybe there's no moral support from the very candidate or the party themselves, who's probably also...
No, you cannot speak for him, Igbo. You don't preempt this situation.
I'm telling you that you said
you are not in Labour Party. You are not even... The tweet is on the social media. It's everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to analyze that tweet.
But you cannot say what he did not say.
No, I mean, you just said that he tweeted that
yes, you don't
dealing with it on a personal matter now, on the level.
Yeah.
Which means when things are happening and you have joint venture, you expect moral support, whether right or wrong.
Did he say that he didn't get moral support from the party?
Well, from the message, everybody
did Doyin tell you that he didn't get moral support
from the
from the
message,
party?
if he's doing it on a personal level and somebody who's holding such a high position, maybe he may have sent that out of that consciousness that, okay, maybe I didn't get that kind of moral support. Maybe that's what he's trying to say.
Okay. Now, Mr. Kele Ogbalo, you want to respond one more time, but quickly, we understand also that your next Director General, of your campaign organization, is likely to be a Northerner. The question that Nigerians are asking is, what is preempting that decision? One would have expected that maybe you get another person from the extraction that Doyin Okupe is from.
Well, I'm going to answer that. You see, my young man here deviates often from actually asking this question because he has perchance to want to speak and maybe has the intention to dent the image of our party. And he's preoccupied with that, but I will not want to address that. Because if you ask that, will it not appear as if the man is witch hunted? I would have expected him to end on the point that no witch hunting, and then we move on.
I asked that question a while ago.
But you find that he always wants to conclude on the part that it has to do with the party. Now, the last part of what he's talking about, you asked the question, I said to you, these are crimes that this man committed while he was here to be in Labour Party. And the man wake up to feel that he does not want to distract the activity of the party, especially the campaign, which is so personal matter, and decided that he will be going away. He didn't cry out in that statement to say, oh, because I'm abandoned. But he's bringing it here now to say, perhaps because he's abandoned. So why was that necessary to the question you asked? But however, coming to what you said, sir, the changes that are expected are going to be the decision of the hierarchy of the party.
Okay.
And it's currently on the table for discussions. So whatever changes that are to be are not yet confirmed. So even if it's coming from the north or going the other way around, that's the matter that will come in a matter of time. And so I'm not going to confirm to you we are doing it up there or doing it this way, because the party has the decision to make in that direction.
Okay. All right, so I think that's it's where we end the discussion now, because time we won't preempt the situation as a station. We always follow to ensure that we give you all the information as they come your way. Well, Doyin Okupe has since resigned, and of course he has personally tweeted to the presidential candidates of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, and he said that his resignation is of personal interest, and of course he need not distract the campaign of the Labour Party movement as he steps aside. And also too, Peter Obi has also accepted the resignation in good faith, and he has also congratulated him for the way he has handled the situation. So just like what I said, that as a station, we'll ensure that we'll follow the nitty-gritty of the matter of the story as it develops. So we're going to be seeing the next Director General of your party, the Labour Party, in another few days, and we'll unveil that to the viewers out there so that they can see. All right, so gentlemen, a very big thank you. Please, we are going to extend that handshake, stretch the handshake too.
No, we were discussing.
All right. So the program this morning on ITV is still on now, so we'll quickly take a short pause for other segments of this program. Please stay tuned.